This week I made two videos about Marianne Williamson, and second one got demonetized. I have no idea why. Like, I was shocked when I saw that little yellow piss stain by the video because I don't think what I said there remotely would warrant it getting demonetized. It just seems like it was by just random. The first video I did on her was about this poll that took place where it showed that the majority of the people that are backing Biden want him to debate Williamson and RFK Jr. And there was this very strange person, Mary Kujukin or whatever she calls herself, who wrote the following comment: MW should step down and endorse RFK Jr. It would gain her respect. Now, Aaron Carson, who's a frequent commentator on my stuff, responds by saying, "Not mine, I check out. We've had legacy presidents before. Also, I'd like to know a bit more about that Epstein connection." And all I'll say in response to that part is that he's right. We've had legacy presidents before, and they tend. I just don't think anyone should inherit an office because of who they're related to, at least without going through the rigorous process of running and making the case for themselves. But we'll get back to that comment in a moment. So after reading that comment that I didn't particularly agree with, I start to look at some of the other things that people are writing. And someone else, this Alex person, says he knows he can't compete with Mary and RFK Jr. Absolutely right. He is referring to Biden. And this same Mary person says, "Do you really think MW would win over Biden? It's clear that the real candidate is Kennedy. He can win over Biden and over Trump." And then Aaron responds, "They're very nervous about candidates who speak well and don't take PAC money." So here's my thing. I have tried to be as nice as I can to RFK Jr. I prefer Williamson over him, but if she were to get out of the race, I would prefer him to Biden. I think that's as nice as I can be as someone who's supporting another candidate. But I was thinking about these two comments and how weird it is that, like, this race is really young in the sense that we're not going to see any voting for over 6 months. And both Williamson and RFK Jr. are doing just as good, if not better, than a majority of the Republican candidates in the concurrent Republican primary. So I don't really see any logic or basis to having either one of them drop out. But I was looking at these two comments because I was trying to figure out what is the logic behind Williamson dropping out 7 months before any voting, while she's polling higher than she has since getting in the race. I was questioning. I was like, what purpose could there be for her doing that? But then I thought about it. I said, oh, this person is an RFK Jr. bootlicker and thinks that she's like siphoning off votes from. But here's my thing, right? During the 2020 primary, a lot of people wanted Warren to get out after Super Tuesday. I call it Stupid Tuesday, because they felt that her being in the race was cutting into Sanders' votes, because they both at the time were seen as progressive candidates. And I understood the logic of that because people were voting and they have like similar constituencies, or there's people that they have voters that like overlap. I get that. And certainly if it were January, February, March of 2024, and by some, stretch the imagination, RFK Jr. wins Iowa, New Hampshire, I would say, yeah, I think Williamson should get out. If she can't make a break for it in the South on Super Tuesday, or, well, they're trying to start with South Carolina, but just, if she had a string of losses to either Biden or RFK Jr., like they're both doing better than her consistently, I would say, yeah, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. But we're not in March or February or any voting month. We are into a campaign that is not going to see a single person cast a ballot for over 100+ days. And I just don't understand what logic there could be to her, as someone who's polling better than they did when they first got in this race, dropping out so she can gain respect. And it's like, respect from who? Certainly not from the establishment. They're already pissed that she dared to run against their precious mentally incompetent savior old man. they very much don't want her to even have been in this race. She wouldn't be getting their respect. And as far as the RFK Jr. stands are concerned, um, a lot of them could go one way or the other. So it's real. I don't know what people she would be impressing or creating this high favorable opinion with by ending a campaign prematurely to satisfy a couple of people on the computer that um, instead of letting the voters decide who stays and who doesn't, they'd rather tell someone to get out before they even have really started. So I thank Aaron and those that support Williamson for their continued backing. I think she should stay in the race until voting starts and we actually get some gauge of how successful she is electorally. And that Mary person can take her nonsense back to the circus. We don't need to have these weird people showing up and writing all types of strange comments that they can't even explain it. They just write weird, dumb stuff like their brain melted. It's really sad because I try so hard to have conversations about these things because I think there is some legitimacy to attempting to do that. But if people are going to sit here and write weird stuff that doesn't make any sense, I'm just going to ignore it. So that was just my opinion on the matter.